Take a slow breath in and let it ease out, knowing that this is a time set aside only for rest, where nothing is asked of you and everything around you is quiet and safe, as if the room itself is holding you with steady arms. And as you feel your body beginning to settle, your shoulders softening, your chest rising and falling without effort, your attention can drift toward something gentle, something without weight or worry. And that is where tonight's story begins, with a bridge that is unlike the ones you cross in daylight. A bridge that is not made to carry noise or hurry, but one that only comes into being when the fog lays its silvery veil across the water. So tonight, we will notice how that bridge rests in the cool air, how the mist drapes softly over its arches, and how each step upon it is hushed as though the world is pausing for you. So there is no need to hold on to anything, no need to plan or expect, only the ease of walking slowly across something that asks nothing of you, where the wooden rails feel cool beneath your hand, where the distant shore is hidden in quiet shapes, and where the only sound is the muted rhythm of your own steady breath. Everything is unhurried, everything is calm, and everything is steady tonight. So, as we begin, allow this story to be a lantern at dusk, a soft glow that does not press, but simply lights the way for you to rest, for you to feel safe, and for you to drift toward sleep. As we continue together, you can let your body rest even more deeply into the surface beneath you, noticing the way each small muscle loosens, as if the night itself is smoothing them out. And while you rest in that comfort, let the story of the bridge unfold gently, in wide, easy strokes, not demanding your full attention, but simply offering a calm place to linger. So, picture the fog rolling in from a quiet river, cool and soft as linen drawn across the air, settling around wooden beams and stones that have stood quietly for years. A bridge that does not appear in sunlight or clear skies, but only in the hush of mist. And this is not a bridge for haste or for burdens. It is a bridge for stillness, for pausing and breathing, for simply existing in the slow rhythm of fog and water. So imagine standing there, your hand resting on smooth wood, cool from the night air, the distant trees barely visible, softened into gray silhouettes, the lanterns on the path giving off a dim glow, more suggestion than brightness, just enough to remind you of direction, not enough to stir the eyes. And as you stand, you notice the quiet, the way sound seems to fold into the mist. Footsteps fading quickly, voices absorbed into silence. And it is here that the mind can settle, not needing to hold on to clarity, not needing to sharpen images, but simply allowing them to blur like watercolor brushed with water, all edges softened, all colors muted, until nothing feels urgent, everything feels steady. And this gentle rhythm carries you forward, reminding you that everything is steady tonight. So the bridge becomes not just a crossing, but a resting place, a space between moments, a calm span where you may linger as long as you like, with the mist shifting around you like a blanket, with the water below moving slowly and steadily, with the air cool and clean, each breath a small comfort, and each pause an invitation to sink deeper into calm. So together we will stay here, describing not just the bridge itself, but the way it feels to be with it, the way the fog curls softly around its lines, the way the night accepts it quietly. And in this gentle picture, you may notice your own thoughts easing back, softening like the silhouettes on the shore, settling like the mist upon the beams, leaving only the comfort of being here, where time stretches out without pressure, and where the only motion is a slow dance of fog across the wood and water. And with every passing moment, the bridge is less a structure and more a presence, a steady companion in the night, asking nothing of you, giving you only space to rest, breathe, and drift. The bridge that appears only in fog is a simple idea, and when we return to it again and again, it becomes less about crossing and more about resting. So imagine once more the faint outline emerging as mist gathers, the edges soft, and the shapes muted. A structure half hidden, half revealed, waiting quietly, without demand. A place that is both there and not there. And as you notice it, you are invited to linger, to breathe slowly, to allow the gentle rhythm of mist and water to carry you. So let us begin this cycle by seeing the bridge with fresh eyes, the cool beams dampened by fog, the faint sheen of moisture on the wood, the soft curve disappearing into grayness. And as you walk, each step sounds different, muffled as though wrapped in cotton. A sound that does not travel far, a sound that ends almost before it begins, and this quietness soothes, like a soft blanket laid across your shoulders, reminding you that there is nothing to do but continue, calmly and without rush, because everything is steady tonight. And in this steadiness, the mind rests. In another cycle, the bridge rises again, this time noticed from a distance, as though seen through the drifting veil of mist across the water, the faint line arching gently upward, the kind of line you might miss if you were hurried. But here in the night, there is no reason to hurry, so the image holds. The arch is faint, the surface blurred. In the air around you, cool and still, like the hush of a library in the evening, where even the turning of a page sounds like a whisper. And as you let yourself settle into this atmosphere, the bridge feels less like a place to cross and more like a place to stay, where each moment stretches softly, unmeasured, unmarked, a pause that feels endless yet comforting. And so we rest in this moment, letting its simplicity fill us. Another cycle arrives as the fog shifts, revealing the lanterns along the railing, their light dimmed by moisture. Halos glowing softly, more shadow than shine, and as you stand by one of them, you see how the light bends through droplets, casting pale reflections on the wooden surface, patterns that move gently as the mist thickens and thins. And in these shifting shapes, you find something familiar, the way candlelight in a quiet room makes the walls seem closer, warmer, calmer. And in noticing this, your own thoughts begin to sway, softening, drifting, slowing until they rest. Everything is steady tonight. Again, the bridge appears, this time as though you are beneath it, looking up from the water where mist hangs low, the beams stretching above like the ribs of a shelter, solid yet softened by haze. The underside damp with coolness, a faint echo of water lapping against stone. And here, the world feels smaller, wrapped in layers of fog, like being beneath a quilt. Edges tucked in, corners smoothed down, leaving you inside a pocket of safety where only breath and quiet remain. And as you let this image settle in you, you notice the weight of the day lifting, the thoughts dimming, the mind gently folding into stillness. Again, we return, and this time you are on the far side, stepping slowly down from the bridge, your feet finding soft ground, damp from mist, the earth cool and springy, and you look back to see the shape of the bridge fading once more, dissolving into whiteness as the fog thickens, until it is as though it never was. Yet you know it remains, waiting within the mist, ready to appear again. And in that knowing there is comfort, a quiet promise that things remain steady even when unseen. Everything is steady tonight. In the cycles of appearance and fading, the bridge teaches that things need not always be clear to be real. That presence can be soft, quiet, partial, and still steady. And so, we repeat this gentle return, noticing it from above, from below, from within the mist, from the far bank. Each time the same, and each time slightly new, like hearing a familiar melody played slowly, again and again, until the tune itself dissolves into calm, leaving only the feeling of ease. And as we continue this rhythm, the refrain comes back. Everything is steady tonight, and with it, your body sinks further into rest. Your mind quiets further into peace, until the bridge, the fog, the water, and the night all fold into one soft picture, endless and calm, holding you steadily in its gentle embrace. Cycle after cycle, without end, only comfort. When we come back to the bridge again, we see not only its outline and fog, but also the way it teaches patience, showing that some things only reveal themselves slowly, as if waiting for stillness. And as this understanding rests quietly in you, the repetition itself becomes soothing, the return again and again, like the steady rocking of a boat on calm water. Gentle, unhurried, always the same, yet always slightly new. And so, the bridge becomes more than a shape in mist. It becomes a rhythm, a steady presence of quietness, a lesson without words, a reminder that even in obscurity there is comfort, even in dimness there is peace. And as this thought settles, everything is steady tonight, and you find yourself relaxing into it more deeply. Now let us add a second gentle layer, noticing not just how the bridge appears, but also what surrounds it. The fog itself, drifting in patterns that resemble breath, expanding, contracting, softening edges, covering and uncovering. And each wave of mist becomes like an inhale and exhale, reminding you of your own breathing, steady and calm, simple and quiet. And this rhythm carries you forward without effort. Imagine too the sounds that are softened by fog, the way water laps faintly against stone, the way distant leaves rustle without edge, the way even your footsteps sound hushed. And all of this creates a world without sharpness, without corners, a world of rounded edges and softened tones. Everything is steady tonight. In the same way, the bridge itself feels like a companion, not a destination, but a presence alongside you. And as you notice it again and again, you may think of 5 small comforts woven through this quietness: the glow of lantern light dimmed by mist, the smooth texture of damp wood beneath your hand, the cool breath of night air brushing your skin, the faint reflection of arches on the still surface below, and the muffled sound of each step carried only a short distance before dissolving. And each of these comforts is enough to hold your attention gently, to give your mind something soft to rest on, to carry you deeper into calm. As we continue, each cycle draws us closer to ease, because repetition itself is restful, like waves touching shore, like leaves moving with the breeze, like breath in and out. And the bridge appears once more, standing calmly in fog, neither urgent nor sharp, always patient, always steady. And as you linger with it, you remember again that everything is steady tonight. With each return, the details may shift. Sometimes the arch is clearer, sometimes nearly gone, sometimes the railing damp with droplets, sometimes almost invisible. But the feeling remains constant, the feeling of steadiness, the feeling of quiet, the feeling of rest. And in this consistency, there is peace. So let the cycles continue. Let the bridge appear and fade. Let the fog gather and part. Let the water below remain still. And let yourself drift further into this rhythm, knowing that the story does not press forward, but rests here with you, repeating, circling, softening, until your thoughts dissolve like the bridge into mist, until all that remains is breath, quiet, and calm, and everything is steady tonight, a refrain that holds you, reassures you, and settles you again and again, until sleep finds you in the softest of ways, without effort, without notice, only comfort, only stillness, only rest. As the night draws long and the bridge lingers in memory, we return once more to the mist that makes it visible, watching how the air thickens and softens, how each curve and line emerges gently, then recedes. And this repeated rhythm becomes a cradle for the mind, rocking you slowly without demand. And as you stay with it, you feel how the bridge is not just a shape in fog, but also a reminder of calm, a reminder of patience, a reminder that not everything needs to be seen clearly to be trusted. And as this thought rests with you, everything is steady tonight. The arches of the bridge are simple, yet their simplicity is soothing, like a hand resting lightly on your shoulder, like the hush of a lullaby sung softly, like the dim glow of a lamp in the corner of a quiet room. And when you notice these images together, the body eases further, sinking into rest as though the night itself has grown softer around you. The fog curls and shifts again, carrying scents of cool water and damp wood, carrying the faint impression of distant trees, carrying nothing urgent, only calm in the mind. Like the mist, drifts freely, unhurried, unshaped, content to wander without needing to arrive. Everything is steady tonight. As we spiral back to the beginning, the bridge feels less like a structure and more like a memory, something you carry with you even when unseen, a comfort that does not fade. And in this way, the story circles gently, not ending, not beginning, but simply resting in repetition, steady and kind. You may notice the edges of your thoughts softening too, becoming like silhouettes behind mist, indistinct and calm. And this softening is its own form of rest, as if the bridge teaches not by words, but by presence, by showing again and again that appearing and fading are both natural, both peaceful, both steady. Everything is steady tonight. So let yourself rest now with the bridge, with the fog, with the lanterns glowing dimly, with the water below moving quietly, with the night air cool and gentle, and let the repetition carry you, not forward, but deeper, deeper into stillness, deeper into comfort, deeper into the softness that waits when everything slows, when everything eases, when everything is steady tonight. And with this last return, the story becomes a lull, a circle of calm that holds you, that surrounds you, that asks nothing more than rest. So let your breath be slow, let your body be heavy, let your mind be light, and allow the night to take you the rest of the way, into sleep, into quiet, into peace. Good night.